sets the screen in front. Off Scrivens, shoots, scores! Jackets have tied it up. Who else but the Red Hot Scott Hartnell? And it's 4-4. Wenberg slows it down at the hash mark, moves in, score. And now Purcell comes quickly, slows down, Purcell! Jackets win! Jackets win! The Blue Jackets survive and defeat the Edmonton Oilers in a shootout.
Hugs all around. After a much-needed home ice victory, the Jackets find themselves on a 3-game winning streak, which began in Carolina. 6 days later, those same Hurricanes are back for a 5 o'clock start right here at Nationwide. Jackets go for 4, and by the way, beware the Ides of March. Carolina, Columbus, it's live and straight ahead only on Fox Sports Ohio. And welcome to Nationwide Arena and Fox Sports Ohio's coverage of the Carolina Hurricanes and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Yes, they did just see each other inside a week ago. The Blue Jackets skated away with an overtime shootout victory over the Canes in that one down in Raleigh. That started a modest 3-game winning streak for the Columbus Blue Jackets. But remember, the Canes lead this season series 2-1, including a victory early in the season right here at Nationwide Arena. You'll see lots of green around Nationwide Arena tonight. But Jeff Rimmer and Jody Shelley will tell you, luck has nothing to do with this one. Let's get up to the broadcast booth and say hello to the guys.
Oh, yeah, we're closing in on St. Patrick's Day, but the Jackets today have an opponent they wish to defeat for the second time within the last 7 days. We're, of course, speaking of the Carolina Hurricanes. The good news tonight, the fact that Brandon Dubinsky returns, and he will play on a line, Jody. Surprisingly, well, maybe just a bit of a surprise, that he's going to play with Ryan Johansson and Cam Atkinson. This might be an effort to get Johansson going, because Johansson has no goals in the last 6 games and but 2 assists.
I like that thought. That's a good idea. And Brandon Dubinsky back in the lineup, back in the locker room. We've said it a couple times this year. He's had a couple returns, but it's a big deal. He plays with emotion. He gets the game. He gets the game. He knows the temperature of the game, and he can respond. He enjoys the big moment, the big situation, and he's always working. So yeah, to have a guy like that, I'm sure Ryan Johansson accepts that guy riding shotgun.
He'll draw him into the fight without a doubt. I have a question for you.
Oh boy.
Coincidence or not? Well, since we've labeled them the kid line, they've been together for 5 games. They have won 4 of 5. Here's their numbers over the last 6, led by the red hot Scott Hartnell.
Well, you call him a kid line, but that guy on the left, he's no kid, 32-year-old boy. But these guys have been hot, Jeff, and they have played together the last few games, and you see the numbers there. We'll start with the veteran Hartnell. Missed 5 games in December, but he has been a constant with his Blue Jackets team. You mentioned 20 goals on the season already. He's done that a number of times in his career. He appreciates this opportunity to play with 2 rookies, 2 20-year-old kids. These guys were 6 years old when he came into the National Hockey League. He's enjoying playing with them because he remembers what it was like to come in and have an older guy help him out, not only on the ice, but off the ice. Wenberg has stepped it up. Dano has stepped it up. Both guys have played in the minors and are excelling since they've been back.
I should also point out, wins in 4 of 5. Sergei Bobrovsky has played those 5 games as well. Let's talk about the Carolina Hurricanes here now. They have dropped a total of 3 in a row, 5 of their last 6. They do have some ability to put the puck in the net, and they're led by their captain, Eric Staal. Staal has 2 goals in the season series.
Well, Eric Stahl's a big body. He's been here his whole career. He's got a drive about him. If you make him mad when the game's on the line, he's a guy that elevates it big time. Shutout loss last night. He had 7 shots on net. He wants to win the games. He wants the big moment. You see he's the leader there. Plays on the line with his brother, Jordan, who's picked up, I think, last year in a trade. So good to have those guys there together. He's a leader.
They're going to play together. Eric Staal, normally a center, will play on the left wing with brother Jordan. But their leading point getter is on the blue line, and that is Justin Falk, who was here for the All-Star game in Columbus back in January. He had 3 points in Raleigh, including a goal.
This guy's great with the puck. Solid defensive player, but he's got that offensive flair, obviously, with the stats he has. Very good timing and jumping up on the play. Gets involved when he knows he can. Such a good skater, and we've seen it with a couple of our defensemen. Jack Johnson is one of those that come to mind. He can get up in the play and get back and defend.
This is the fourth and final game of the season series. Carolina has the edge right now, despite the Jackets' win in a shootout in Carolina earlier on this week. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by First Financial Bank. Another step on the path to success. By IGS Energy. Take control of your natural gas and energy costs and enroll today at IGSenergy.com. And by Nationwide. At Nationwide, we put members first. To find a local agent, visit Nationwide.com. Nationwide is on your side. It's a hockey night in Central Ohio. Blue Jackets wearing their alternate third jerseys, taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Bobrovsky 4-1, 2.59 goals against average, .919 save percentage in his last 6 appearances since returning from the groin injury. And Anton Khudobin, 2-1-1 in 4 appearances career-wise against the Jackets at 2.23 goals against average and a .929 save percentage. Referees Dean Morton, Mike Lego, Sarah Colo, Henderson, the linesman. Carolina wearing their traveling whites, the Jackets in their home blues. Johansson and Jordan Staal for the opening face-off. And we are underway with Johansson winning the opening draw. Up on that left wing. Dumped into Carolina territory by Ryan Murray, who's got a new defensive partner here as the aforementioned Jody Shelley pointing that out during the pregame skate. Murray with a fine return to the lineup on Friday. The Jackets a different hockey club, Jody, with Ryan Murray in.
Yeah, he brings that calm effect to that blue line. He's only a second-year player, but he's got a veteran presence out there.
He's got to stay healthy and play games. He certainly has the talent, second overall pick, but the Jackets need him in the lineup and healthy. How about the Toyota Keys presented by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers?
Well, key number one, speed it up. Has a lot to do with skating here tonight. These guys played. Carolina played last night at home. Got to get on them, speed it up. One-on-one battles, that has to do with skating too. Get there, win the battle, get out of there. And key number 3, check with your legs. Not with your eyes. You got to get there, throw the body, take the puck, whatever you got to do, but take away that time and space with your legs.
Down the right wing and across the line. Dano fought off there by Khudobin. Up high, quick shot there. Connaughton, Jackets looking for the rebound, and I'll tell you what, Jordan tying up Marco Dano, who was looking for that rebound in the slot. A penalty upcoming. Great work by the Jackets, and Wenberg draws a penalty. Scotty Hartnell as well was held up.
Carolina penalty, 2-minute minor slashing.
And a slashing call.
Right in front of the net. Watch where this play comes around. You see him get hooked there and kind of go down. He gets whacked a couple times too there, but that was a pretty good one. As he was in pursuit, Victor Rask on his fellow countryman, Alex Wenberg, and he'll sit.
So, the Jackets, with the first power play of the night, they are 5 for 12. And, of course, they had 3 against the Kings in Raleigh on Tuesday night. And those 3 power play goals bringing the Jackets from behind for the victory. They trailed 2-0 and 3-1 after the first period. Rask for slashing. Puck carried in. Johansson offside. There's a look at Bill Peters, the first-year coach of the hockey club. Won a Memorial Cup with the Spokane Hockey Club of the Western Hockey League back in 2008. And, of course, Peters was highly sought after. Talked to a couple of other teams before settling on the Carolina job.
And he's a guy that they've responded to pretty well. Tough record on the season. But when you talk to the players, Bill Peters, along with Rod Brindamore, the former player down there on the bench, have done a good job with this group. Just in responses, how much they like him and how he has the team upbeat in a bad situation.
If you don't mind, Jody, I'll add one more key.
Please
to your
do.
keys.
Please do.
And that is score the first goal. How about right here on the power play? But nonetheless, get that first goal. Of course, Marco Dano scored 43 seconds in. That's the quickest goal to start his season for the Jackets Friday night against Edmonton. But in the previous 6 home games, they allowed the first goal, and the Jackets failed to win any of those 6. So get on the board early here. And now, with less than a minute to go on the power play, be a pretty good time. John Michael Lyles, who was a healthy scratch the other night, attempts to clear, kept in. Right-handed shot on the left point, Savard. Picked off, right back to Savard again from Bourque. Savard lets one fly, 10 goals on the year. Looking for number 11, which would be one off the franchise record for defensemen. Here's Foligno up high. His shot is blocked. Foligno looking to get on the board with a power play goal. He has no power play goals in the last 32 games after 9 in his first 33. Jack Johnson into the slot. Atkinson looks for the handle, and it's cleared with 10 seconds remaining in the Rask penalty.
Nice job by this power play unit. Atkinson, Foligno, and Bourque, along with Jack Johnson out there. Great movement with the puck.
Rask back on. Back at full strength are the Kings. The Jackets did not register a shot on goal. A few of them were blocked. Moving it off the wing. Sent in front. Deflected high. And here, Corey Trump in the corner. Fought off by Hainsey. Played Eric Stahl. Falk joining the rush. Falk heads to the net. Bobrovsky the stop on the edge of the blue paint. And he will hold on.
Some good offensive zone time by the Columbus Blue Jackets on the power play. You mentioned not many shots, but they're in there. And watch this play by Ryan Murray. Just as the power play ended, he comes off the point there, anticipates that play. Good awareness. That's good confidence for a young defenseman. Getting back in the lineup. Hasn't played many games at all this year, but sees an opportunity there. Jumps into the offensive zone. Trusts his forwards will cover for him.
There's no doubt how much talent Ryan Murray has, but as we've mentioned several times, he's got to be in the lineup and be healthy. Skinner tosses into the slot. Jackets block it out of the zone, down the right wing and across the line. Here's Artem Anisimov. Backhands it. Anisimov riding a 3-game point scoring streak. Left wing pass at center. Jackets controlling their own zone, and it's Tootin D-to-D. Ryan Murray now steps up on to Wenberg. Wenberg ahead for Hartnell. And after the power play, a bit of a makeshift line employed here by Coach Todd Richards as we approach the 5-minute mark of this opening period. Through the neutral zone and across the line. Walking in, but losing the puck there was Nestershil. And the Jackets cleared the zone. Bull tried to get a stick on it. It sails the length of the ice, and it is icing. Well, just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time. Later in tonight's contest, it's brought to you by Miller Lite.
There's Mark Letestu. He's getting ready for the defensive zone faceoff here with that icing play. Got his wingers all on the right page, and you know he's been an effective player in this area. Doesn't win this faceoff.
Scramble in front after the shot by Jordan, who was a bit of a question mark for tonight's game, but took the pregame skate and is in the lineup, far side.
That's spelt Michael Jordan, but pronounced
Mikel Jordan.
Okay. That's because he's playing in North Carolina, right?
No, I think it's more than that.
Okay.
Left wing. Chopped to the right wing boards. Jackets break it up and sent in by Dubinsky, who's returned, as we mentioned, after a 2-game absence, and looking to draw Johansson into the fight. Jackets looking for much more from number 19. Dwyer throws it into the middle. McClement unable to play it. Hainsey keeps it in. Bouncing puck just sails wide of that. McClement now looks off Malone. McClement keeps the feet moving. Now Dwyer tosses a backhand to the right point. Falk right into the left wing corner. Stepping up is Malone. Malone and McClement drop the Jackets defenseman Prout, who's back on his feet. Johansson's clearing pass fails as Hainsey got a stick on it. Puck settled down. Connaughton on for Prout. Jackets change up as play continues. A pass for Foligno, chopped away. Here comes Gerby. Nathan Gerby like a little gnat, but boy, he plays a big man's game.
He does. He's relentless on the puck. He won't back down from a battle. And he's very, very shifty with that quickness. He can use it. His major tool, obviously, is his quickness.
He is on the top line tonight with the Stoll brothers. Right wing pass. Here comes Anisimov. Through and across the line. Pulls up. Fires a shot that ricochets off a leg. And it's Jordan Stoll off the wall for brother Eric. Back to Jordan. Jordan missing much of the early part of the season with a broken leg suffered in a preseason game. Gerby to the point. Shot off the goalpost. Bobrovsky never saw it. It deflected and went right off the iron. You heard it. We'll be back. 13:29 left. Scoreless. And as we get a look at the two coaches behind their respective benches, a scoreless hockey game. How about the Elk and Elk injury report? And good to see that Jacket side starting to lose a few names.
And there's talk that Boone Jenner might be coming on the trip out west. I don't know about Morin.
Jeremy Morin is too.
Yeah, right. And then Matty Calvert, while we haven't heard much, we hear he's progressing. And Jack Skilly had shoulder surgery, so he will miss the remainder of the season.
Jackets in a stretch of playing 7 of 8, this being the exception, against the Western Conference. And as the Jackets head out on Tuesday for Edmonton, Vancouver, and Calgary, as Jody points out, both Morin and Jenner will be on the trip, and perhaps later on in the trip might return to the lineup. Well, Jody, I know you said somewhat facetiously there's only one Michael Jordan in North Carolina, and that is the truth. Jordan actually is from the Czech Republic, played in the World Junior there. They got high hopes for him. Got kind of banged up last night and was a questionable starter, but did take the pregame warm-up and pronounced himself ready to go. That would be sacrilegious having another Michael Jordan.
Well,
unless it was his son.
He's not wearing number 23, I know.
That's true. Icing the call. Was that your first hit?
Before every Blue Jackets game, be sure to get ready for that game on Blue Jackets Live pregame show. It's right here on Fox Sports Ohio. We'll get you ready for it 30 minutes before every game, and it's brought to you, as always, by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers.
There's Brandon Dubinsky, excited to be back in the lineup. He had that awkward fall he was out with, and then he got hit with that little bit of a flu that came through the lineup. Only a few guys got hit with that, but just a little time. And always good to see Brandon Dubinsky back on the ice, especially at home, where he loves playing.
Well, you know what you're going to get every night he puts on that jersey.
He's only played 37 games this season, and that's out of 60. This is game 69, so he's missed almost just under half the season. And effective player, like you said, he had that major hernia surgery in the offseason, missed the beginning of the year. Hard to come back from, but it's good to have Brandon back playing his style of game.
Tooting up high. On here to the aforementioned Dubinsky. Floats one through, and it was deflected wide. Johansson had it hop over his stick. Here's Dubinsky now. Dubinsky on for Johansson. Fought off there by Rask. Carolina on that left wing. That's Malone. Backhanding it ahead. Looking for Dwyer. Jackets break it up. Canes have to clear the zone, and it's tossed by McClevitt. Back to Jordan. Mikhail Jordan. On to the left wing for Malone. Malone hits Dwyer off his stick, and away goes Corey Trapp. Trapp down the left wing. Belmore defends. Trapp taken wide. Fights through the check. Some help from Jared Bull. Puck squirts free. Played there by Dwyer. And Trapp finishing his check. Dwyer fights it off. Down the left wing. Jordan. Malone late in the shift will backhand it deep. Feder Tootin gets to it. Malone was held up briefly there by Ryan Murray. And it is Ryan Murray with the puck now. Left wing at center. Trapp will dump a backhand in. Marching out of the zone. This is Rissanen. Rissanen stepping away from Foligno from center. Wrists it in. It's played there by Bobrovsky. And handed off to Savard. Anisimov on for Foligno on the right wing. Foligno tosses behind the net. Hudobin Rims it around the boards. He'd left the net. The Jackets try to send it there. Heads up play by Jack Johnson, but the Canes got a stick on it to deflect it wide. Here's John Michael Lyles across the line, and he wrists one wide of the net. Played by Jack Johnson, looking for Bourque on the left wing, but it sails deep into Carolina territory. Now a hard left wing pass here for Eric Staal. Carolina captain lifts it up over top of the net. Jackets come up with it, and it's Alexander Wenberg. 2 assists the other night against Edmonton, and then the game-deciding goal. Puck turned over. Moving to the net. Down is Bobrovsky covering up for Savard after the turnover, and you can almost call it a steal by Jeff Skinner.
Yeah, it was a steal. Savard's going to get the puck here, get his head up, and Skinner jumps on that rolling puck. And watch this here. Fans on the shot. Jack Johnson comes right through the paint there. He sees his partner in trouble. He's not thinking about the puck. Jack Johnson, all body there. Get Skinner out of that way just in case there is a rebound there. Good thing Skinner whiffed on that puck, because that was a nice opportunity.
Hainsey tosses behind the net. Connaught paired with Dalton Prout, who is camped in front of Bobrovsky. Right wing. This is Dano. Marco Dano at center. Dano, 2 goals, 4 points in the last 5 games. Play is whistled down, and we will step aside with 9:51 left. Carolina with 5 of the first 6 shots. Back after this.
Tell you that if you go to foxsportsohio.com right now, you can read how Ryan Murray is ready for the next step. How did Dayton fare in the A-10 championship game today in Brooklyn? And Sam Amico checks out some unsung Ohio college basketball heroes. Complete coverage of all of today's action involving Ohio sports. It's brought to you by 1-800-SAFEAUTO.com.
Face-off will come to the right of Sergei Bobrovsky. Jackets have not had a shot on goal for more than 9 minutes.
Only 1 on the night, and they had a nice, some nice offensive zone time on the power play, but not taking a shot in a couple attempts, didn't get through.
Now face off on the left side. Jackets control from the draw. Battle along the boards. Atkinson had it briefly. Rask able to chop it away. Left wing, Dubinsky sends it out of the zone. D-to-D here by Carolina. Hainsey hits Rask. Cross ice pass on the right side. Shot sent wide of the net. Hainsey again. Blocked by the Jackets. Down the right side and across the line, it's Johansson. Johansson, the shot, the stick save. There's the Jackets' second shot of this opening period. Race for the puck between Rask and Tootin. Out comes Bobrovsky, and alertly so. Johansson waits as the Jackets change up.
Great awareness by Sergei Bobrovsky there. Saw that it was a 50-50 race with Tootin. He just came out and shut that play down by playing the puck himself, helping out his teammate, Fedor Tootin.
Dwyer in pursuit. Backhands. Left wing feed. Jackets break it up and fire it over top of the net.
Good steal there by Artem Anisimov.
He is playing really well for the Jackets right now.
Well, if you think back to the last part of the year last year, that's one of the things he did very well was steal the pucks, create opportunities. He's a big guy and skates better than what players think out there.
3-game point streak with 4 points in the last 3 games. Tonight, skating in his 399th game. He'll play 400 in Edmonton to start the road trip. Hard to believe he's played 400 games in the NHL already, isn't it? Right wing, the aforementioned Anisimov looking to cut in. Knocked down there. Jackets in turn knocked down Rissanen. Played here by Bourque. Rennie Bourque up high. Shot by Prout. Save Hudobin. And Dwyer's attempt to clear. Prout again. And the glove stop of Hudobin, who was outside the blue paint, just reached out with the leather and holds on.
Couple nice steals this period. This one right here by Anisimov. Picks the pocket as the Hurricanes there think they're breaking out clean. That's McClement. And that last shot by Dalton Prout, he picks off a pass there very alertly. The first shot he had, puck went to the corner, looked like they were going to break out again, but Dalton stood his ground, picked off the pass.
Staal drops it back. Out of the left wing for Gerby, reaching for it, unable to play it. Bobrovsky out of the net. Will rim it around the boards, and it's out of the zone. Jordan hustling back. Winberg first in on the forecheck for the Jackets. Set off the wall. Eric Stahl able to redirect it deep in the Jackets' territory. Cannot will pick it up in the corner. Dano waits near side. Eric Stahl trying to shovel it ahead. Dalton Prout tosses with a backhand to the far side. Jordan Stahl to pick it up. Stahl into the slot. Brother Eric failed to get a shot away. Now fires from the right wing boards, but Bobrovsky had it. Puck backhanded to Winberg. Winberg showing more and more confidence, just handling the puck, skating up ice. And I'll tell you what, scoring that game-deciding goal in the shootout the other night against Edmonton is going to work wonders for this young man.
I was telling you, I asked you after the game if you scripted it. Because it was a good, it was a nice ending, especially for that line who's worked so well together. They all factored in that night.
Carolina will get their first power play with an interference call against the Jackets' Fedor Tutin.
Yeah, he got caught kind of flat-footed.
Number 51, 2 minutes, interference.
In the neutral zone. And you can see what he was trying to do here. As the player's going around him, he gets caught up a little bit with his stick and his hand in the midsection. Right here. He thought he had that puck cleared in. And to make up for it, he tried to negate the speed of Skinner. But in doing so, he took a penalty.
So Carolina in the top 10 in power play efficiency. They are ninth. 40 for 203 at 19.7%. In fact, they're first in the National Hockey League since the All-Star break in power play efficiency. 17 goals, and they're at 27.4%. They scored a pair of shorthanded goals, or excuse me, power play goals. Jackets were shorthanded in Raleigh. Jackets scored 3 power play goals. Carolina had 2. Top of the circle. Shot. Kick save. Right pad there of Bobrovsky. Canes battle below the goal line. Comes up high here to Falk. Falk. Eric Stahl. Stahl settles it down. Eric Stahl looks cross ice. Jackets get a stick on it. Letestu, the active stick. That's Lindholm on the far side. Lindholm observes. A minute 12 left on the power play to the goal line. Backhanded. Dropping in front of it was Savard. And it's Eric Stahl on it now. Back for Stahl. Lindholm tosses to Falk. Walks the line. On to the captain. Stahl in front. Shot blocked by Jack Johnson. Jackets able to clear. And it's Hudobin who will set it up. 46 seconds remain on the power play.
Blue Jackets catch a nice break there. That penalty kill unit for the Blue Jackets has been out there, or was out there for quite a while. Carolina miscue on a pass. Sends it all the way down the ice. Enables everybody to get off.
Down to 30 seconds. Jeff Skinner will leave it right there. And it's John Michael Lyles carrying up ice. Looks off Jordan Stahl. Across the line. Dishes to the right wing. Puck played by Terry. Left side. This is Jordan Stahl. Into the corner for Skinner. Can't control that pass. Ryan Murray on to Foligno, who will backhand it back into Carolina territory. Down to the final seconds of the Tutin penalty. 5 and counting. Lyles. Left wing. Stahl. Tutin steps out. Both teams have killed off the first opposition power play. 1 shot for Carolina. Neutral zone play. Lyles. Cross ice. Rissanen. Or excuse me, my apology, that is Ron Hainsey. Hainsey looks ahead there off the stick of McClement. Played by David Savard and dumped back into Carolina territory. Canes have 6 of the first 10 shots. Belmore dangerously in front of his own net. Hudobin had to go down on one knee. Dano was right there. McClement with a backhand. Second effort. Settle down. This is Dwyer. One-on-one on Jack Johnson. Gets the forearm shiver. Now Jack Johnson and Malone. Dano steps in. That's a little bit of a peacemaker.
Yeah.
So as they sort this one out, no damage done. 4:05 left, opening period. Scoreless at Nationwide.
Our scoreless here at Nationwide. Just about 4 minutes left to play. Craig Hartsburg, you hope to get a little momentum off that penalty kill right now?
Yeah, it was good. Real solid. Had some good clears. Some good battles.
Talk about creating some more offensive opportunities. Only 4 shots in this game.
Yeah, we've been okay coming out of our end. We got to get more pressure on them on the forecheck, and obviously put more pucks at the net, get more bodies there.
This coaching staff gauge everything on the forecheck. If this team is playing well, the forecheck is going well. When things aren't happening the way they want, they always look to the forecheck. So it's skating, it's their identity.
Thrown behind the net. Stahl. Eric fires off his skate. Jordan Stahl tried to send home that rebound. Atkinson. Left wing Dubinsky. Kept in here by Jordan Stahl. Quick shot from the wing. Eric tried to redirect it. He was right there in the paint. Again, thrown in front. Billmore up high. He floats one in. It goes off Jordan Stahl. Played by Eric off the backboard. Stick save Bobrovsky. The Canes all around. The Jackets netted. It's Gerby. Nathan Gerby. Using that speed up high. Fires a shot that goes off Fedor Tutin, who got a skate on it, and he just hammers Jordan Stahl, who goes down, and there'll be a penalty to Tutin. And we got Gerby and Dubinsky tied up with one another. Tutin goes in there.
And Tutin's trying to draw another 2. He knows he's going to the box. He knows he's going to be there. He doesn't want to be there by himself. Trying to get one of the Carolina Hurricanes to retaliate here. Here he is, 51, going in for the puck. Stahl, he's right on his hip. Stahl could feel him coming. Stahl whiffs at the puck and then crumbles into the boards. Tutin right back to the box here.
16:48. A hooking call. Strange hooking call there.
Yeah, that was
one shot on their previous power play.
Wouldn't call the hook.
So the faceoff will come outside the zone. And Eric Stahl right now arguing as to the placement. Normally you would see the faceoff on a penalty in the offensive zone. But because of that scrum after the whistle, they move it outside, and now Rask hammers in. Puck chopped to the point here. Falk with a drive that's blocked by Wenberg up high, and Letestu is able to send it into Carolina territory. Justin Falk, right-handed shooting defenseman, steps to center, rips it deep into Columbus territory. Battle ensues here along the wall. Eric Stahl trying to get the handle. Toss to the point. Right side. Rask. Falk. On the right wing, Boris. Again to Falk. Rask. Left circle. Fires a shot. Backhanded right across the blue paint. Attempted shot there by Lindholm, and the Jackets have cleared.
Good job by the Blue Jackets there. Sergei Bobrovsky makes that save, but to get that puck and make sure it's out of harm's way.
Here's Falk. Drops a pass for Skinner. Carried into the zone. Far side of the ice. Canes control. Rimmed around. Up high. Lyles tosses behind the net for Skinner. 34 seconds left on the power play. Stepping up there is Terry. Wenberg trying to feed Dalton Prout. Prout attempting to hold off the forward there for Carolina. And away from Lyles, the puck sails deep into Carolina territory. And now Lyles, he'll lead the rush up ice as Terry heads off. Fresh legs come on. Jordan Stahl waiting patiently at the offensive blue line. Lyles attempting to step away from Ryan Johansson. Lyles now across the line. Looks to Skinner, offside.
Columbus Blue Jackets hockey is brought to you by Nationwide. Nationwide, the official sponsor of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
How about that? Look at this, because Lyle's stick got caught up in the helmet of Jack Johnson. And he finally had to let Lyles know that he wanted the stick himself to remove it from the face shield. He's saying, where's the high sticking call? How about that?
I didn't. So it got caught in the earpiece?
It got caught somewhere in the helmet. Looking from up here, you couldn't see exactly until we just got the close-up here right now. But Lyles' stick, and Lyles was trying to remove it, and Jack is smiling about it now.
They're showing it on the big screen here. Yeah, the crowd's booing because
they're looking for a penalty. You call that high sticking. There's proof, but no call. Fortunately, Jack Johnson's okay. That could get pretty dangerous there with the stick actually getting caught up in the face shield.
it's going to be a penalty on this play, but let's take a look at this Jack Johnson play you're talking about. Looks like it's going to be a hold here, as you can see the ref. Watch it here. It's on the right of your screen. Jack Johnson's got the stick. It's trapped in his helmet here. That stick is lodged inside his helmet. They had a good argument there for a high sticking call. There's no doubt.
Jackets
and there's the call. They made it up. The makeup call.
Yeah, you think so?
Well, it's a hold. But good job on Jack Johnson to keep his feet moving there as he felt the Carolina Hurricanes arm wrapped around him.
Dwyer gets the gate well into the final minute. The Jackets again 5 for 12. Coming into tonight's game, 3 of those against the Canes. How about the Canes? When we were there on Tuesday night, Jody, they were #1 in the entire National Hockey League on the penalty kill. And here they chop it into the zone, and it's Falk racing deep into Jackets territory. But they have given up 6 power play goals to the opposition in the last 4 games. And again, 3 of those were against the Jackets because Tuesday night they were #1 on the penalty kill in the NHL. And they've now slipped to 4th. Dwyer the holding call. Jackets looking to register a shot here on the power play. They failed to do so on the first man power advantage. Johansson on that turnover. Can't get a shot away. Johansson now from the corner. In front. Foligno scores. Power play goal. His first power play goal in 33 games. And it comes just as time expired. And now, hold on. The officials are talking. And there will be a review. You'll get a look at it here. Time has expired.
Good play down here. Johansson tries to make that pass the first time. And there's the second time. Nick Foligno's in a familiar position.
Here the time is burnt in here now on the screen. Take a look. Oh, wow. 1/10 of 1 second.
And you can see it through the legs. Explanation going on at the bench here. And we're going to freeze it here now. Puck's over the line. There's the time. 0.6 seconds on the clock. Nick Foligno, we've seen him in that position a couple times this year. And you mentioned it's been a while since he scored a power play goal.
Well, he had 9 in the first 33. That's his first in the same number of games, 33 games.
That's amazing.
It is. So Foligno with his 25th of the season and his 10th power play goal. The Jackets in the final minute on the power play are able to find the back of the net. Foligno from Johansson. 1-0 after 1. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Huntington Bank. At Huntington, you can bank like a real fan. Get your Blue Jackets debit card at bluejacketsbanking.com. and by Ohio Health, the official healthcare provider of your Columbus Blue Jackets. Jeff Rimmer, Jody Shelley rejoining you here, waiting momentarily. The arrival of head coach Todd Richards, who will join us briefly, and he's putting on the headset. We welcome him now. Todd, downstairs, your thoughts of the first period, coach?
The first couple minutes were good. Once we got the power play, I think it slowed us down a little bit. We got a little frustrated, didn't execute the right way on the power play, and gave them some momentum coming out of it, but obviously scored a big goal. Now we got a power play to start the second.
Is that momentum to take it into the second, Todd?
Well, there's some positive things as far as scoring the goal right at the end of the period. Now we have a power play opportunity, but we have to use this as an advantage. And you want to obviously come out and try to score a goal, but if nothing else, you have to shoot the puck and create some positive momentum.
Thanks for this, coach.
Okay, guys.
Todd Richards joining us downstairs. He'll now head to the bench. Jackets will begin a power play. A bench minor was assessed for abuse of the official at the 20-minute mark. So the Jackets will have yet another power play. This will represent their third. They're 1 for 2. And let's see if they cannot continue where they left off, scoring that last second goal for the 1-0 lead. Nick Foligno with his 25th of the year and 10th power play goal. 9 of the 10. Again, the first 33 games, 1 in the last 33. They started defensing Foligno a little bit differently after his terrific start of the power play. He's had an outstanding season, of course. You take a look, 25 goals to lead the Jackets. His points now stand at 62. And that is more than he had in his first 2 years combined with the Blue Jackets. So the Jackets on the power play, and away goes Connaughton. He'll lead the rush. He was poke checked away, and Foligno follows up. Good hustle there by Foligno. Scotty Hartnell is there along the near boards. Foligno falls, and play is called, and a tripping penalty here. Whistles play down.
That's on Hartnell right there on the wall. It was a battle.
Columbus number 43, 2 minutes for tripping.
So that'll nullify the Jackets' power play. And the crowd, they saw Foligno fall. They thought the Jackets were going to get a 5-on-3.
Let's take a look here. 43 Hartnell. You see the puck. Foligno kicked at the puck. Hartnell trips up Dwyer, who might have just stepped on his stick and went down. Might be the argument here. Well, from that angle, or the referee's angle, looked like a trip.
Falk tied up there by Jack Johnson. Jordan Staal squeezed out along the wall by Savard. Here's Jack Johnson walking to center, drops a pass for his defensive mate Savard. Set into the zone, Ron Hainsey to play it. Dubinsky steps into him, except it was Dubinsky who hit the ice. Falk, left wing feed. Staal looking for Falk. Jordan and Eric are out there. The two in the corner. Jordan trying to hand it to brother Eric. Played here by Dubinsky. 4-on-4 hockey for the next 54 seconds, and then a brief power play for Carolina. Lyle up on that far side. Jordan avoids a hit but lost the puck. Johansson carries into the zone. Johansson trying to lead the Jackets. Ryan Murray. Murray now retreats to the left point. Picked up there by Lyles. Tossed behind the net. Foligno pressuring Jordan, who just simply blew a tire. Walking out of the corner, Foligno to the point. Ryan Murray. Murray for Johansson. Johansson trying to walk away from Jordan. Cycling here is Foligno. Jackets playing keep away right now. 14 seconds remain. And the bench minor being served by Lindholm. And the puck sails all the way back to the Columbus side. Khudobin out of the net. Power play in a brief run of 22 seconds. Already down to 17. This represents the third power play for Carolina.
How about Todd Richards? He timed it right. He's got Wenberg out there with Borg. Jack Johnson, Savard for this brief, as you said, 22-second power play, which is going to be added another 2 minutes here.
Gerby got tripped up. They're going to have a 3-second two-man advantage.
Columbus penalty, 2-minute minor for tripping.
Second straight tripping penalty to the Jackets. So
Watch Gerby going in here. You see the stick. Gerby loses his footing. Goes in really awkward there. You see him kind of bracing his hand or his upper body. David Savard, it looks like he just got a stick in there.
He was playing the puck.
Yeah.
2:20. Jackets able to send it down, so Hartnell steps out, and he is in pursuit of the puck before racing off to the bench. Lyles carries through the neutral zone. Semin on the right wing, offside. How about the IGS Energy performers through the first 20 minutes?
And there's that man right there. The goaltender, Sergei Bobrovsky, to make some key saves, couple power play chances. And then Nick Foligno scores with under a second left in the first period on a power play chance. Nice feed from Ryan Johansson. And it looked like there was going to be some momentum coming into the second period with that power play, but that got negated right away by a penalty to Scott Hartnell.
Drop pass. Through and across the line. Skinner. Jackets break it up. And will be played here by Terry. The forward manning the point. 4 forwards employed here, Jody, by Carolina on their power play. And as we mentioned, they came into tonight's game. Oh, boy, Prout slipped and fell, allowing Falk to walk right in, but he could not pull the trigger.
Yeah, Prout went airborne there. I like how he stayed with it. He tried to break out the play on his back by flicking his stick towards the puck, but big Eric Stahl knows how to protect from that those plays and got an opportunity towards the net.
Jordan Stahl tried to, like we've seen Foligno so many times, go from backhand to forehand at the side of the net on the power play, but could not pull the trigger. Right now, 38 seconds remain in this power play, the third for Carolina. Puck bounced all the way back, deep into the Kane zone, and it's Falk with 22 seconds left. Carries it through the neutral zone. Drops the pass. Moving in. This is Lindholm. Takes it in the corner from Eric Stahl. Jackets defend. Up high, but not out. Shovel towards the net. Stick to side. Redirected in the corner there by Sergei Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky coming down with a cold. Didn't feel all that great yesterday, but said he'd be well enough to go today and feels much better. And, of course, in the lineup again for the Jackets here on home ice. Tootin, right wing for Foligno as we approach the 5-minute mark. Jackets have killed it off. And now the Canes are 0 for 4. They've had 2 shots on that just completed power play for a total of 4 overall on their 4 manpower advantages. The Jackets called for icing here.
After this game and after every Blue Jackets game, make sure you stick around on Fox Sports Ohio for Blue Jackets Live post-game show. We talk to the players and Coach Richards. It's brought to you by IGS Energy. Take control of those natural gas costs. Go to IGSenergy.com.
And Tootin is paired up with Murray. You mentioned it off the top. Tootin's a left-handed shot, playing the right side here tonight, leaving Murray on his natural left wing or left side of the ice. He is also a left-handed shot.
Foligno. Chips it ahead, gloved by the Canes. Play allowed to continue. And it's tossed in the backhand behind the net where Bellemare will play. Bellemare now looking to the right side for Dwyer. Dwyer shoveling a pass out of the zone. Wenberg got a stick on it. The puck wristed in, played by Bobrovsky, and tossed here into the corner. Kevin Connauton, who will be heading home to his native Edmonton as the Jackets begin that 3-game trip. Also heading home, our own Jody Shelley.
Oh.
Family be excited to see you, Jody.
Yes, Ned and Doreen are going to go for dinner.
That's great. Battle ensues along the boards. 5+ minutes gone. The weather in Edmonton is superb, too. How about that? Normally we'd see snow and temperatures well below 0, but kind of balmy on the Fahrenheit scale around the 50-degree mark.
That is balmy.
Connauton. Always like to have that weather report before we head west.
You guys from out west. Hartnell, Letestu, Johansson. Always makes it fun to see the friends and family around.
For sure. Offside, 13:48 left. Here in the second period. Jackets lead on a first period power play goal by Nick Foligno. The man right there.
Jackets have the lead here at Nationwide Arena. Ryan Murray's second game back from being out again from that high ankle sprain. He's done a nice job. Let's look back to the first period. Decisions. That's an anticipation in the offensive zone. Tries to get that to the net to drop. Here, good defensive play. Being up in the play. It's not easy to be that far up in the play. When you come back, sometimes you sit back too much. There, great awareness with the stick, breaking up a play. Here he is in the defensive zone. Checks his shoulder. Finds support. Those are seamless plays that make things happen easily. How about that stick in the offensive zone? He's going for the puck, uses his strength, whacks the opposition stick, gets the puck, and gets it down low.
Jackets have got to create some offensive zone play. They've yet to register a shot on goal here as we approach the 7-minute mark of the second period. They've been outshot 13-6. Gerby darting down that right side. Gerby drops a pass for Eric Staal. In front, Jordan Staal. And moving laterally to make a superb stop right there from point-blank range was Sergei Bobrovsky. Great save.
And Eric Staal, he can do it. He can make plays. He's a game changer, and here he is. Finds his brother. It's going to the net. Jordan Staal plays a heavier game, it seems, defensively. But he's got a knack for in front of that net, and right there, Sergei, as you said, has got to stay with that play, push across, and is there to make that save.
Tell you what, Canes got off to just a terrible start. Had trouble even winning in the first month of the season, and a big reason why they really missed Jordan Staal. You talk about his heavy game, and certainly he can play anyway. Originally drafted by Pittsburgh, came over in a trade. Another penalty upcoming to the Jackets. This will be the 5th power play for Carolina tonight. Belmore drops it back. 6 skaters on. Semen, that one is deflected. Played by Foligno. And for the 5th time tonight, the Canes will go to the power play. That is one more power play opportunity than they had the entire game on Tuesday night.
It's been a steady parade to the box here. Ryan Murray's going to make his way there now. He's not impressed with the call.
Columbus number 27, 2 minutes, high sticking.
High sticking, okay. Here he is, 27. Got his stick above the numbers there. I believe that was the call, so
Eric Staal won the draw. They got it to the point for Falk, who let one fly off the pad of Bobrovsky. Lindholm. Eric Staal off a skate and tracking it down in the blue paint. Sergei Bobrovsky.
And we'd like to congratulate season ticket holders Kathy and John Dodson, who won lunch with head coach Todd Richards through the early renewal sweepstakes. Today's prize, a team autographed jersey. Renew your season tickets now at BlueJackets.com or by texting RENEW to 37664, and you'll be entered to win.
Faceoff comes to Bobrovsky's white. Eric Staal wins it. Rask gets it back. Tosses for Falk. Walking to the line. Left wing feed. Backhanded ahead. Played here by Eric Staal with Lindholm. And Nestrashil. Nestrashil to the point. Rask walking the line. On to Nestrashil. Looks cross-ice. That backdoor play for Falk. Couldn't handle a pass. Lindholm steps away from Fedor Tutin. A little more than a minute left on the power play. Nestrashil below the goal line will take the pass now. In front, Rask, and he rips it wide of the net. Falk up high. Falk on to Lindholm. Eric Staal waits top of the circle. Far side of the ice. Played into the slot. Rask. Falk lets one fly and scores. Power play goal. And we are all tied up here. 1-1.
Now we talked about Rask and Falk earlier, and Falk brings the heat here. On a nice little touch pass from Rask. You see Rask at the top left of your screen. He slide that puck over, and there Justin Falk just unloads top shelf. Watch this player unfold here. Ends up behind the net. 49's going to get it in one motion right to the top. And Justin Falk in motion steps into that one, Jeff.
What a shot. Falk came into tonight's game leading the entire hockey club in points. Picks up his 14th goal, half of them on the power play. He had 1 goal and 2 assists, including a power play goal against the Jackets Tuesday night in Carolina.
Interesting about that goal, though, he was on the back side of the ice, and when he saw that puck coming, that gave him a chance to get in motion to even get more speed on that shot.
In front, save Hudobin. He's down, and the Jackets could not get to the rebound. First shot, Jackets got 2 there, and have their first 2 shots of the period with an icing call against the Carolina Hurricanes.
Good pressure by the fourth line. Corey Trop, Jared Boll, Mark Letestu right after a goal against on the power play. Watch Letestu here. Corey Trop makes it happen in front, and Jared Boll is actually going to get a whack at it there. Carolina feeling the pressure, iced it. Now they've switched up their lines. Here's Dano, Hartnell, and Wenberg following up that fourth line attempt.
Interesting, Dano taking the draw as opposed to Wenberg. Jordan sends it the length of the ice. We'll get icing again here with 11:07 left. Falk from Rask and Nestrashil tying it up at 8-11. That's the 3rd power play goal for Carolina in the 2 games the teams have faced off against one another this week.
Dano, as you mentioned, taking that draw. He lost the first one. He loses this one.
Dwyer at center, trying to hold off Dano. Chopped ahead there by McClement, who will head off along with Dwyer. Carolina turned, and there Bobrovsky lost the puck and had to hustle back to the net. Malone, from a sharp angle, tried to send it into the empty cage, but it was way off the mark. That was an impossible angle to put the puck on net.
Yeah, he was behind the net with no one in front. Just tried to throw it in there, knowing Bob was behind the net also.
Hartnell now trying to squeeze through along the wall. The Carolina player went awkwardly into the boards, and he's down and in some difficulty. And that is Rissanen.
Yeah, he went down as Hartnell went around him.
Went down awkwardly.
We could only see his skates go in the air from here. But the ref immediately identified that he was not going to get up and he was in some trouble, and then he blew the whistle and called for the trainer of the Carolina Hurricanes to get out there.
Rissanen will get some help to get to his feet, and not putting much weight on that right leg.
Kuopio. Take a look at this here, 62. Watch, Hartnell's going around him. You can see as his leg goes into the boards there. Boy, that ankle, that's not easy to look at, I'll tell you. Hartnell gets around him, and then that leg whips around. Goes right into the boards, and he immediately grabs for his lower leg there as he makes his way down the hall with assistance.
As we mentioned, Carolina came into tonight's game somewhat banged up on the blue line. And Jordan was a question mark. He is playing, but now Rissanen goes down, so they're down to 5 defensemen. They were perhaps going to have to play with 13 forwards if Jordan was unable to go. Here's Terry on the right wing, fires a shot high and wide. Canes have taken the lead. Wow.
That's Ron Hainsey with a blast. From the side, the left side, he just enters his own. The puck ends up coming his way after that Terry shot. You mentioned Terry just throwing the puck at the net. Terry's on the right side of your screen. He fires it high. Watch 65. Ron Hainsey does nothing with it but lean on the puck. There's traffic in front of Sergei Bobrovsky. This is the wide shot. It's high. It's over the net. Sergei finds it, pushes back across. He looks like he's in a comfortable position. That shot just fools him through traffic.
Ron Hainsey should get credit for that goal. And for Hainsey, that will be his second of the season. We'll wait for it officially as we approach the midway point of the second period. 17-8 are the shots favoring Carolina. Atkinson to the point. Savard sends one in. Hudobin got a stick on it, steers it to the right wing boards. Jordan Staal tied up by the Jackets' Atkinson. Stood up there by Jack Johnson. Right wing Atkinson spins and turns. Away goes Johansson. Through and across the line. He's got Dubinsky on the wing. Drop pass. Here's a shot by Savard, and it's blocked. Lyle stepping in front of it. He awkwardly heads off to the bench.
That's a big play by John Michael Lyles. Beautiful passing play. Johansson, Dubinsky find that third wave of players, and the defenseman David Savard steps into it. But Lyles there to sacrifice, block the shot.
And he's in some pain on the bench here, doubled over. Far side, played there by Bellemare. Bellemare, Jordan. Dangerously in front of his own net. Pursued there by Jared Bull. Left wing pass. On the backhand, Jack Johnson. Hainsey with a second from Terry and Nestrashil, who picks up his second assist of this period. 2 goals, a minute 34 apart. Long shot is blocked. Commanding lead in faceoffs won by these Canes in the second period. At last count, they won 10 of 13 draws and had a decided edge in the first period. Long shot sails wide. That's Malone. Malone on the right wing boards. Malone looks to the point. And he's able to get it out. Played up high. McClement. Jackets look to march out of the zone. It gets away from Hartnell and sails the length of the ice. The Jackets will be called for icing.
Dalton Prout does a nice job in his own end there. Gets the puck. Tries to connect with Hartnell, but that doesn't happen. Here's that block shot by Lyles. He laid out with reckless abandonment there, Jeff. Just whatever it took to block that shot. He might have got it in the upper body. Usually guys try to lay out and get their shin pads on it. But he took that up high.
Still doubled over as the shot comes from the wing by Jeff Skinner, and Bobrovsky is there. Right now it is all Carolina. They have doubled up on the Jackets. 18-9 on the shot clock. They lead 2-1.
6 to go here in the second period. Jackets down 2-0. Carolina with a couple of goals here in the second period. Brad, how do you get things going back in your favor?
Well, first you got to stay on the box. We've taken 5 penalties in the first half of the game against a top-ranked power play on the road. So, it takes a lot of guys out of the rhythm. We're playing on our heels, and it's tough to generate anything when you're killing.
And it's a matter of consistency again. I know you want to develop the consistency from period to period, and you got to get that going in this period, right?
Yeah, and you can't do it when you're short. It takes too many guys out of it, and it wears too many guys down. So we got to stay out of the box and start to get our forecheck going.
And Brad Larsen's exactly right. You get the rhythm off the bench. You're using your penalty killers way too much. In this segment of the hockey game, Canes are 1 for 5 on the power play. It's just too much time spent in that box.
Jackets have gotten themselves in trouble. You'd think they'd learn throughout the season when they give up so many opposition power play opportunities, Jody.
Yeah.
Oh, nice move by Dano. Inside out, and Hartnell scores. A pretty goal scored by the Jackets, Hartnell, but it was all Marco Dano.
Wow. Marco Dano just having a little fun with his buddy Mikhail Jordan. And here it is, inside, outside, just like you said. Gives it to Hartnell. Hartnell gives him the point. That was all you, my friend, Marco. That's a bouncing puck. Skate to stick. Stick goes inside, outside. Little backhand pass. Boy, that's impressive right from the point. Then he picks up the puck. And Hartnell knows what to do. Another goal right in the paint.
21st of the season. 7 goals in the last 7 games. And he extends a goal-scoring streak to 4 games. His 5th goal in the last 4. And it was all Marco Dano. Dano picking up his 5th point in the last 6 games with as nice an assist that you could even expect to see. What a play. And the kid line continues to produce. Bobrovsky picks up an assist as well. The play started in Jackets territory. Here, Bobrovsky fights it off.
The kid or the kid in the goat?
No, I'm saying, giving Hartnell the benefit of the doubt. We're not going to look at his birth certificate here. Just judge him by his performance on the ice. And it has been outstanding. Agreed?
I totally agree.
So we'll give them the kids moniker. Why not? 6:35 left. Up high, bouncing puck. Away from Dubinsky. 2-2 the score. The Jackets have fought back to tie it again. McClement, left wing feed. Cross ice to Dwyer. Moving in on Connaughton. Dwyer around the net. Tried to chop it in front. Went off the net. Dalton Prout finishing a check. McClement battles along the far wall. Dwyer up high. Comes back here to Bellemore. Bellemore with a shot. It's deflected. And McClement will get credit for it. The Bellemore shot redirected, and just like that, the Canes have come back to tie it less than 2 minutes after the Jackets had tied it. The Canes are back in front.
That was a quick play to the net. A couple of one-on-one battles here. Puck turns over. They waste no time with movement. Bellemore makes sure he's got that puck exactly where he wants it. And then it's tipped out high. It looks like Malone got his stick on that out high. McClement was the guy in front of the net, but that's a high tip. A high tip out front, that changed directions. No chance for Sergei Bobrovsky.
3-2. Carolina. Bobrovsky not happy after that goal. Minute 33 after the Jackets had tied it up on the goal by Hartnell. Here's Tootin. Knocked away from Terry. Bouncing puck sent into the zone. Udobin out of the net. Quickly retreated as the Jackets came in pursuit of that puck. 5:35 left. Bouncing puck. Played here by Bull. Puck in the corner. Corey Trop looking to walk out. Trop tosses it behind the net. Jordan fights through the check. Along the boards. Murray able to save it at the line. First with the skate, then chops it behind. That's Bull. Rask gets an arm around him. Bull to the front of the net. Malone indeed gets credit for the goal. Bellemore and Dwyer draw the assists. 3-2 Carolina. They lead 20-10 in shots on goal. Dano back on the ice. Dano throws it in front.
These guys are confident together, Jeff. That little play from Hartnell to Dano in the middle of the ice with the defenseman in close range for the Carolina Hurricanes. That's a confident play. Hartnell's got confidence in those guys in tight areas, that's for sure.
Hartnell drilled along the boards, gets right back up. He got a number there. Nestor. Lindholm avoids a hit there from Dano. Savard. Puck played. Hartnell. Move to the right wing boards. Wenberg on to Jack Johnson. Leading the rush and finding Dano on the left wing. Dano hanging on. Looks cross ice. Bouncing puck played by Foligno. He had a power play goal with 1 second, actually less than a second, remaining on the clock. As late a goal as he could possibly score in a period, which upset the Canes. They took a bench minor as a result, disputing the goal. But of course, the red light cannot go on if the period comes to an end. Here, quick shot. Semin disguises it, but Bobrovsky able to track it down. 3:39 left.
3-2 Carolina here. Let's look at the Blue Jackets' last goal. These two guys, the veteran and the rookie, have been talked about a lot lately, this line with Wenberg. But look at this play by Marco Dano. Skate the stick, inside, then outside, then back around to Hartnell. Hartnell says, hey, what a play! Watch Dano there with a little ooh. He was watching his own move on the big screen there. Hartnell gets his attention. Thank you very much. Nice goal. How you doing? They need another one, though, Jeff. They're down 3-2.
Here we go from the draw. Falk hanging on. Centered. Stahl. Eric looking for brother Jordan, who's camped in front. Canes send it wide of the net. Carolina with the pressure on in Jackets territory. Dubinsky gets an arm around Eric Stahl. Stahl. Kirby. Derby keeping it away from Dalton Prout and Dubinsky. Tosses it back behind the net, but it's cut off there by Prout. Jordan-Stahl pressures. Eric gets it. Loose puck in front. Good active stick there. Dubinsky tosses to the far corner. Bouncing puck played here by Connaughton. Connaughton off the wall. Able to be kept in there by Falk. Right on to Gerby. Shot from the wing. Bobrovsky's got it. He's going to hold on here, and wisely so.
Todd Richards is changing things up with his lines down there, Jeff. This is Dubinsky, Anisimov, and Bork. I'm not sure if he's missing someone off the bench or not. We'll take a look at that. But
Dubinsky was out there with Johansson. Now it's Johansson, Atkinson, and Foligno finds that spot. Maybe from that little chemistry from the power play goal they scored, he wants Foligno back on that line.
Got to get Johansson going. Ryan Johansson picking up the lone assist on the power play goal, his third point in the last 7 games. As for face-offs,
he's on fire.
Jackets win that one, but they have been out-faced off 15-6 and out-chanced here 12-7 in the hockey game.
Now look at the first period for Johansson's face-offs. 11 draws, he won 9. He's doing some good things, but as you mentioned, you'd like to get more out of him, point-wise.
Exactly. Dwyer, certainly capable.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Less than 2.5 left. Dubinsky started on the line that game, as Jody points out. Now Foligno, hopefully, can get big number 19 going. Atkinson down the right wing. He looks. This is Johansson. Quick feed to Foligno. Drop back. Johansson hangs on, shows patience. Johansson looks, sends it back up high. Tootin. No look pass there on the wing. Murray looks for Atkinson, who was cruising to the net. The pass was behind him, and the Canes are able to clear. Less than 2 minutes left now here in the second period. Carolina 3. Blue Jackets 2. After the Jackets had tied it up on that pretty play by Dano, Hartnell converting. A minute 33 later, why Carolina regained the lead on the Malone goal.
Yeah, Todd is just mixing up his lines. He's got a full bench down there. And as you said, as this game wears on, he's looking for guys that have the chemistry, guys that are going. So right now, Dubinsky and Anisimov and Bork are together. This fourth line remains intact, though. They've done a nice job. They've been sent out a couple times right after goals have been scored by Carolina. And they've done a nice job in the offensive zone.
That's Terry in the corner, ridden off by David Savard. 1:10 left in the period. Rask can't make a play. Jackets with a clearing pass goes off Corey Trott, stepping up is Jack Johnson. He'll send it in. Jackets with wholesale changes with less than a minute to go. Marching out of their own end. Here are the Kings. Ron Hainsey sending it across ice. Jackets. Wenberg into the slot. Hartnell and Hudobin coming over to make the stop. The puck went off Hainsey. Hudobin was all the way on this side. The net was open, but Hainsey at the side saw the puck go off his chest.
It's got to be something to play with young players, but how about young players who are just having fun and making plays like this? I mean, that's a full cross-ice pass. No hesitation to do so. You like that carefree game these guys have found. It usually takes a long time or quite a while to get that, but these two guys, Dano and Wenberg, spending time in the minors, finding their game and coming back and being able to play their way through with injuries and stuff to find that confidence. And playing with the veteran Hartnell just seems to be working right now.
Without question. We talked in the open, the Jackets' most effective line, and they've done it again here tonight. 4-1 of the Jackets since the line was assembled. 4 wins in 5 games. Wenberg's clearing pass knocked down by Terry, but Wenberg will follow up again. Wenberg off the wall to Dano. Perfect play. Quick shot as the horn goes. Jackets are trying to make it 2 for 2 in the final second. Is this a basketball game or a hockey game? Looking for the buzzer beater there. We played 40 minutes here at Nationwide Arena. It is, after all, March Madness. 3-2 the score. Carolina leading the Jackets. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Roush Honda. The best way to say Honda is Roush Honda. And by Ticketmaster. Score. Get the only NHL ticket sold by fans and verified by Ticketmaster. It's all hockey, no hassle, right now at NHL.com/ticket exchange. All but set for third period play. And quite a reunion here during the first intermission. And tell you what, got me a little bit of emotion.
It did, and it should.
Well, we should point out,
Braden McDaniel, the young lad, was on the bench with his mother, and they had it set up perfectly between periods. Dave Metzel just interviewed them there, Jeff. And Staff Sergeant Hayward surprised his young son Braden on the bench, and what a moment captured there. Fans at Nationwide Arena were thrilled and very touching.
yes, it was. Staff Sergeant Haywood McDaniel was away for the last year at Guantanamo Bay. And his son, Braden, surprised to see his dad here. Mom, Amanda, arranged the entire reunion. And she said, I don't know if she'd be able to pull it off, but she sure did. And that was much to the delight of the family.
Those never get old. Those are just so awesome.
Up high, Tootin. Puck ricochets off his skate, picked up there by Eric Stahl. Rolls off his stick. Johansson now shovels ahead for Atkinson as we approach the 1-minute mark. Listening to Dave Metzel's radio show this morning, he kept saying you've got to be in the building watching in the first intermission. I was wondering what was on the mind of Dave Metzel and what would we see. Well, it was certainly worth it here for the crowd. An emotional reunion, and great to show some of that here on Fox Sports tonight.
Dave always does a great job with those features, and
yes, he does.
what he does, puts in all that, those extra hours, and nice to grab that moment right down in the hallway right after those three were reunited.
I was wondering, what's he up to tonight? Well, what's he got going?
He didn't tell you?
I didn't see him. He's been too busy. We kid him all the time, but he does, you're right, does a great job. And all those features he puts together. Boy, as Dalton Prout covers up the puck and away from the Carolina forecheck. He went over to Dalton Prout's parents' place on the day off. Here's Connaughton coming in off the wing. Never stops working. Up high now, Prout lets one fly, and that's deflected wide. Semin, a pass here for Skinner just beyond his stick. And now, Connaughton. Kid can skate, can he? Into the zone. Connaughton now below that goal line. 2 minutes plus gone here in the third period. Carolina scoring 3 times in the second. Jackets with single goals in period 1 and 2. They trail by 1. Looking for the equalizer here. This is Dubinsky. Dubinsky. On for Bourque. René Bourque and Anisimov accompanying Dubinsky on the line. Fought off the blocker there of Bobrovsky, and will be played here by Prout. Late in the shift for him. D to Tootin. Bull will sweep it wide as Prout is replaced on the blue line. Picked up here on the left wing. McClement reaching for it. There was Dwyer. Fourth line out there against fourth line of the Jackets. Letestu in pursuit. Dwyer gets it to Malone. Right now, Malone's goal, the go-ahead goal on the redirect of the shot from the point by Bellemare. That one coming late in the second period, in a minute 33 after the Jackets had tied it up on a great goal by Hartnell on a pretty play by Marco Dano. Turned the defenseman inside out and then flipped the pass into the waiting arms of Hartnell, who was able to send it home. Well, let's check out tonight's AEP Power Play summary. Both teams, Jody, have been able to find the back of the net on the power play.
Well, Carolina's been on the power play way too many times. We heard Coach Larson talk about that. Just taking away the sink of the bench and letting those guys roll 4 lines. So I'm sure that's going to be addressed for this period. But that summary, both teams getting a goal on the man advantage.
And the two teams combined for 5 power play goals, 3 of them by the Jackets in Carolina on Tuesday. Rolling puck picked up by Gerby below the goal line. Jordan Staal for brother Eric, tied up by Savard, able to spring free. Eric throws it in front. A paddle down by Bobrovsky. Read that play perfectly down the left wing. Foligno with the Jackets power play goal. Falk now the backhand pass. Gerby and Jordan Staal. Brother Eric trailing. Jordan now throws it into the slot. Jackets defend. It's Jack Johnson. Poke check away. Picked up here by Eric. No, that was Jordan, my apologies. Eric now sends it up high. Falk lets one fly off the blocker of Bobrovsky. Able to track that one down. Ryan Johansson waits as the Jackets change up. Perfect feed. Dano off the bench. On to Hartnell. Moving in. And off the glove of Khudobin. Dave Metzel talked to Hartnell in the second intermission. You got to like his positive commentary, saying the Jackets had to be a little more disciplined in the third, then said, hey, we'll get the tying goal in the third, tie it up, and then win it in overtime. Jackets. Dano on the forecheck, away from Semin. Hartnell trying to shovel it in front for Dano, who was knocked down by Rask. Carolina, left wing feed. Lyles moving up. John Michael Lyles across the line. Edges it off into the corner. Hustles right after it, behind the net. Battle ensues. Nestor Schill beaten there by Dano and sent to center. 5 minutes plus gone here in the third. Right wing Terry dumping it in. Bobrovsky communicating, and it's on to Dalton Prout. Prout headmans that puck to Dubinsky. Left for Anisimov. Artem Anisimov riding a 3-game point scoring streak. Finishing a check there on Jordan. Clearing pass to center, picked up by Dubinsky. 5.5 minutes now gone here in the third. Dubinsky dancing at his own line. Drops it back. Tootin on for Ryan Murray. Tootin now looking for Dubinsky to pass behind him, and the Jackets will be called for icing.
We are on the march to opening day this Tuesday for some St. Patrick's Day baseball in Arizona when the Reds take on the Indians in Goodyear, Arizona. Join Tommy Brenneman and Chris Welsh for every pitch beginning at 4 o'clock on Fox Sports Ohio.
Yeah, these are two teams that are well on the playoff picture, Jeff, but if you think about Carolina, they've lost a couple in a row. The Blue Jackets have won a few in a row. You just want to have that winning feeling in the locker room. And the Blue Jackets went through a tough stretch there where they just lost. It was 7 in a row, and they got it back. And that's what Carolina wants to have. There's nothing you want more than to win games and feel good about what you're doing.
Bork from about 55 feet out sent a quick shot towards the net, but just missed the mark. Khudobin never saw it as the puck sailed wide. Bork in pursuit. Bork out there now. On for Letestu with Corey Trop. Shot from the point. Redirected by Trop. And Khudobin saw that thing crack right up into his catching mitt. 13:41 left, third period. 13:41 left here in the third. Carolina clinging to a 1-goal lead. And time for tonight's Ohio Health Great Save.
Let's go back to late in the second period. And Scott Hartnell in here with a chance. Cross-ice pass. Oh! Khudobin gets the blocker on it. Nice little feed from Wenberg.
That line has again been fired away. The Jackets' best forward line. Scotty Hartnell with a goal tonight to extend his goal-scoring streak to 4 games. He's got 7 in the last 7. And it's Gerby dancing down the right side with Eric Staal. Pulls up at the half board. Looks for Jordan. Jordan across the goal mouth. And give the Jackets credit there. David Savard was all over the other Staal with the net gaping wide open. Thrown in front. Atkinson at the side of the net. Johansson trying to flip a backhand. Second effort, tosses it behind. Picked up there by Falk. Right wing feed. Up high Johansson. Ryan Johansson ricochets off a leg and wide. Jack Johnson can't make the play point. And it will be an icing call here against Carolina.
Well, that was an interesting face-off in the defensive zone. This man right here, we talked about his quickness, Gerby. He read Ryan Johansson's setup. He had his guys set up. He had Foligno set behind him if he won the draw. He did win the draw, but Gerby was quick enough to jump, use that speed, anticipation, pick off the puck, and that led to that Eric Staal attempt at net to his brother Jordan.
Draw one by Jordan Staal. Kirby, the clearing pass. Carolina will be able to change up here now after that icing call. Fresh legs come on. Jackets. Marco Dano sprints through the neutral zone. Bounces one wide. If Hudobin will play it nonetheless. He'll send it high off the glass. Wenberg knocks it down. Jackets having a rough night in the faceoff circle aside from Ryan Johansson. Johansson winning 72% of his draws. But the Jackets, despite that, as a team, come in this third period only 37% in face-off wins.
That's not near good enough. You know, you judge a lot of players on points, of course. We're talking about Ryan Johansson. Earlier in the game, you want more out of him. As you look at Wenberg. But it's play away from the puck that coaches and teammates recognize. And I think the success that that line has had, Hartnell, Wenberg, and Dano, has a lot to do with their play away from the puck. They feel good about what they do in the defensive zone. They always manage to get down in the offensive zone and create those opportunities.
Here on the wing, Anisimov kick save. Hudobin getting the right pad on it. Scramble in front. There's a shot. Anisimov again, but it's blocked. Hudobin. Boy, there was a hit right there on the Carolina bench. And the door open. That could have been very dangerous for the players involved. Fortunately, everybody's all right. Bourque. Dubinsky trying to fight through the check. Dubinsky back on his feet. Dubinsky walks up, sends it to the point. Tootin dishes it right back into the corner. Now Bourque looking for Dubinsky. Picked off by the Canes, up high. Tootin handing to Anisimov. Rimmed around the board. Stepping up here is Ryan Murray. Coming together there with Semin. Bourque in the battle as well. Anisimov steers it free. Tosses a backhand. That's cleared by Falk to center.
Carolina did a good job that shift of taking away the shooting lanes of the Columbus Blue Jackets. A couple times it looked like they had a nice opportunity to get the puck in there with guys in front, but no shot was taken.
Anisimov pressured along the boards. Canes can't clear. Bouncing puck there. McClement. Anisimov right there with the active stick. Falk coming together there with Jared Bull. Letestu tosses it behind the net. Hudobin coming out, a little caretaking of his own. Far side, toss behind the net. Corey Tropp is there. Tropp sends it into the slot, and it sails between the two defensemen and up high, and Bobrovsky's out of the net to play.
Jack Johnson with good anticipation keeps that puck down low. Guys in front of the net. But the Jackets just aren't getting those pucks through, and it's frustrating as a forward. You work so hard to get there in front of the goaltender, and then you watch the puck get cleared out, and you got to break out of your own end again.
Hudobin, the stop in the blue paint. He will hold on.
You mentioned that player getting checked into the boards, and the door sprung open. We're going to take a look at that here, Jeff. Here it is. It's Semin with the puck. It's Bourque who finishes every check very hard. Wasn't that bad. Semin was fine.
Atkinson trying to hold off Belmore. Hangs onto that puck along the boards. Knocked down. Jordan Staal trying to feed Eric. Prout sends it high and wide on the wrist shot. Connaughton off the point. Prout now stepping up. Jordan Staal with Gerby darting down the right side. Into Gerby and backhanded but wide of the net. Gerby's stick broke. Jackets able to move it up. Johansson, a feed here for Foligno. Trying to walk around the defenseman. Nice move. Got inside out on the defenseman but slipped and fell. Crowd looking for a penalty to be called. Johansson. Ryan Johansson. Drops it for Foligno. Eric Staal steps between the two. Staal down and cleared off the glass. And now Dano pushing and shoving there. Jackets asking for a delay of game penalty. None forthcoming, although there is a discussion amongst the officials. Well, indeed, after the officials conferred, they have decided to make the call, delay of game. Here it is, Jody.
Ron Hainsey got right underneath it. You see Ron. He pointed at the Blue Jackets player, and there's a signal for delay of the game. Delay of game? Not delay of the game.
Belmore is the player in the penalty box. I thought it was Hainsey as well.
It was Hainsey.
They got the wrong guy, but Hainsey will stay out there. The important thing is they made the right call. And after conferring during the commercial break, as we went to break, I was saying the officials started huddling.
Well, so did Craig Hartsburg huddled his power play unit together and got them on the same page for this all-important face-off.
Indeed it is. The Jackets on the power play. They are 1 for 3 with 2 shots. And a huge opportunity to tie up the hockey game. And what was it that Dave Metzel heard from Scotty Hartnell? We'll tie it up with a power play in the third and win it overtime.
Yeah.
Well, they got to do the first right now, and Hartnell's out there to ensure they do. Khudobin moves it to the far wall. Foligno, who had the power play goal in the dying second, and I mean dying second, of the opening period to give the Jackets the lead. Hartnell, Johansson, up high Connaughton, on to Johansson. Foligno waits in front. Hartnell pulls the trigger. Stick save Khudobin. Approaching the final 8.5 minutes as the Canes clear. A little more than a minute left in the penalty credited, or should we say, given to Belmore. Atkinson comes with speed. Pulls up. Pressured there by John Michael Lyles. Savard. Oh boy. Penalty upcoming here for holding the stick. And it was the back official that makes the call.
Columbus penalty number 13, 2 minutes for holding the stick.
Atkinson will go off to nullify the power play. And he had something to say to Dean Morton.
Well, he pulled up here, and he runs out of time and space. And as he goes down, he chicken wings that stick. We get a better look at it here. As he goes down, look at him. He grabs that stick, and he's holding on. And that prevents... What is that? That prevents... was it Dwyer from getting that puck out? Big play.
So 4-on-4 hockey for the next 49 seconds.
Good speed he came through the neutral zone with, too, Atkinson. He pulled up maybe a little early and ran out of space as 2 Hurricanes came in and closed that gap on him.
Crowd letting the officials know of their displeasure. Nonetheless, we've got less than 8 minutes to go. 4-on-4 hockey. Battle on those end boards. On to Savard from Anisimov. D-to-D. Jack Johnson. Off a leg. Played up high. Jordan Staal. Stepping up. Jordan, and he will sweep it behind the net. Bobrovsky out to trap it. 15 seconds remain in the Carolina penalty. And then they'll have a brief power play. Letestu walks right in. Wraparound attempt. Khudobin, spread-eagled in the blue-pink, is able to hang on.
Great play by Mark Letestu with speed, heads up the whole way. He faked the shot early there. That caused the defender for the Carolina Hurricanes to go down. Here it is, fake shot. Falk goes down, kind of stumbles. And then as Letestu takes it around the net, he tries to quickly beat Khudobin to that post. Can't do it, Khudobin, as you said. Post to post there with his skates.
Less than 7.5 left. We continue final seconds in the Belmore penalty. He gets the word, comes into the defensive zone. Brief power play. I guess not all that brief. Better than a minute. Tootin will send it down the near boards and into Carolina territory. Now less than a minute left on the power play. 52 seconds to be exact. As they march out of their own zone, the Canes to center. Slipping up there, but able to send it in was Lindholm. Tootin defending against Rask and Eric Staal. Fished free by Rask. Nestor Shell. That's Rask handing to Lindholm. Thrown in front. Bobrovsky tried to get a glove on it. The Jackets are able to chop at the length of the ice.
Good job by the Blue Jackets down around that net, sticking together, making sure to get that puck and clear it.
Falk behind the Carolina net. Looking to walk out. Drops it back for Lyles. Carried into the zone, Lindholm. Drops it. Dubinsky now. Nice move to get away from Falk. One man back. That's Lyles. Waits for reinforcements. Down to the final second. Savard off the point. Wrists it wide. Looking for goal number 11 for him on the season.
Just rolled off his stick. What an opportunity for David Savard.
Now Atkinson back on. Battles against Lindholm, who's been out there for some time. Dubinsky. Johansson to the point. Picked off. Eric Stahl. 5:55 left. Stahl taken to the wall. Jack Johnson backhands. Atkinson can't make the play. Semin chopped it ahead. Jeff Skinner tried to get a stick on it. Here, through the neutral zone. And across the line. Jack Johnson dumps to the corner. In pursuit. Tosses to the far side. Foligno on to Wenberg. Wenberg steers to the corner. Picks it right back up. Hainsey defends. Wenberg protects that puck. Wenberg into the corner. This is Dano. Belboy is there for Carolina. Wenberg pinned. Fights through the check there of Ron Hainsey. Left wing Skinner at center. And he'll dump wide of the Jackets net. Played by Kevin Connaughton away from Semin. Wenberg on for Dalton Prout. Little more than 5 minutes left. Wenberg now dancing through the neutral zone. He's across the line. Wenberg walks around Falk. Fires a quality shot there. But Hudobin able to make the stop.
Good speed there by Wenberg. Good heads-up move through the neutral zone. Made it look easy.
And a nice shot on net.
Wenberg, a little upset there. Dropped his stick. Meantime, Prout back in his own zone. Malone dishes it off into the corner. His goal right now, the difference in the hockey game with 4.5 minutes left. Backhanding the pass. Here comes Letestu. Across the line. Hainsey defends. Carolina down to 5 defensemen. Rissanen has not returned since going awkwardly into the boards and the Jackets end. Puck played here along the wall. Malone trying to feed Dwyer. Here's Jared Bull across the line. Bull upended. Crowd looking for a call here. Fans on their feet showing their displeasure as Lyles tosses to the right wing boards. Dwyer ahead for McClement. Jackets finish a check. That's Jared Bull. Late in the shift, he'll head off.
Yeah, he was frustrated. He had the puck in the middle of the ice, and he got checked from behind. And he took his frustration out with that big hit on McClement.
Jackets have outchanced Carolina 5-1, but have been unable to beat Hudobin this period. They've also won 7 of 9 draws. Jackets with 8 shots, Carolina 3 here in the third. Less than 3.5 minutes left. Down the right wing. Across the line. Ready Bork fires a shot. Blocked by Jordan. Rask defending against Dubinsky. Lyles will lift it up and out. Puck shoveled back into Jackets territory, called for icing. Well, the Jackets will head out of town after this one. Our next telecast will come your way from Edmonton. That game is going to be played Wednesday night, not Tuesday night. It's a Wednesday night affair. 9:30 for Blue Jackets Live pregame. The opening face-off Wednesday night will be at 10 o'clock. 8 o'clock start. Saved by Bobrovsky. Jackets will depart on Tuesday. It'd be a little difficult if the game was Tuesday night, too.
Could make it in time. You gained 2 hours.
Well, that's true. Have the heavy legs, though.
Oh, yeah.
Gerby, right wing. Gerby chops it wide of the net. Jackets finish their check. On the right wing, Atkinson. Atkinson sends it to the left side. Gets it right back on that feed. Pulls up top of the circle. Into the slot for Foligno. A drop pass. Moving in. Connaughton. Hudobin is down and right there. Tracking that puck down and hanging on with 2:10 left. 3-2 Carolina. 3-2 Carolina. The two individuals that are involved with our Big Lots, Big Play right there side by side. Dano and Hartnell, Jody.
And
the big play goes to Hartnell, who finishes off. But how about the play of Dano?
Hartnell's 21st of the season. He knows that good things happen when you go to the net with your stick on the ice.
7th goal in the last 7 games for Hartnell. He's riding a goal-scoring streak that's been extended to 4 games. He's got 5 in the last 4 and 7 in the last 7. And the Jackets could use another Hartnell goal, or one from anybody, quite frankly, to tie up this hockey game and send it to OT.
It's late in this game, and keep an eye on Bobrovsky here. We've seen this situation before.
Yes, we have. Too often of late. Gerby. Atkinson. Johansson. Away from Hagee. Quick shot. Sails wide. Atkinson looking to send that puck home. Up high. Wristed. Redirected. Khudobin never saw it. Kane's attempt to clear. Stahl able to get a stick on it. And sends to the Jackets line. Connaughton and Ryan Murray are paired on the point.
I was just going to say that. Ryan Murray's second game back. He's out there for that crucial faceoff. Made a couple nice plays there.
Khudobin sends it wide. Watching Bobrovsky out to the hash mark here. 1:32 left. Nick Foligno. Foligno, Connaughton, who can fire the biscuit. Sends one towards the net. Picked up by Stahl. Bobrovsky's made his way to the net. The net is empty. Picked up here by Gerby. Gerby dancing, fires, and there's Hartnell, the last line of defense, able to make the stop. Bobrovsky had already committed. He was at the bench, and Hartnell was on for it.
Hartnell went right from the bench to the goal, right to the crease.
Meantime, far side, play whistled down. Hartnell tied up, I believe that. Is that Gerby?
That's Gerby. Gerby took the shot on Hartnell, who stopped it. And then coming up behind the play, these two guys locked horns. Hartnell took his helmet off there. Gerby's helmet. But nice play by Hartnell to come on the ice, awareness to say, hey, I know where this guy's trying to go with the puck. So when Gerby took that shot, he's not very happy with himself. Here comes Hartnell up the ice. He makes a little pass. Gerby gets kind of under his skin. And there you see what happens. Timeout is called here. No penalties. It doesn't appear.
Just a little hug. That's all. Just a little hug.
Pretty good hug.
Timeout called by the Blue Jackets. And that will enable us to check out the PNC game summary.
And it's been quite a night for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Quite a while to get the shot clock going. They've now evened it up a little bit. Face-offs, 1. The Blue Jackets, 22-1 face-offs. And let's look at Ryan Johansson. 17 out of 22, he has won those face-offs. Oh, he's done well in the face-off circle here tonight.
He's the only one.
Good point.
Jackets 37% as a team, despite the efforts of Ryan Johansson. But where the Jackets really need the contribution from Johansson is on the score sheet.
Well, he's out there now with Hartnell, Wenberg, Dano. And you know what he's there to do initially?
Win the draw.
There you go.
Jackets have had a decided advantage here in the third. Johansson, incidentally, just 3 assists in the last 7 games, including tonight. A key draw to the right of Khudobin. 1:10 left. The Jackets' net is empty. Johansson wins it. It's on to Wenberg. Stepping up there is Jack Johnson. A little more than a minute left. Hartnell shovels to the point. Moved by Wenberg. Hartnell behind the net. Scotty Hartnell pressured. Less than a minute to go. Moved by Falk. Reversed. The crowd chanting here as it's sent down the ice. No icing call. Hainsey sending it the length of the ice, and the crowd not happy about that either. Moving up. Jackets across the line. Wenberg kick, save. Big rebound. The Jackets unable to get to it. Now Johansson, less than 30 left. Passes behind the net. Dano was tied up. He's a little frustrated. He thought Khudobin had an arm on him. Up high, Johansson. Ryan Johansson sent ahead. Cleared, but not out. Good save at the line. Second effort there. They get it out. Nestershil. The net is empty with the shot sent wide of the net. Rask tries to get a stick on it. Down to 2-1. The Carolina Hurricanes hang on for a 3-2 victory over the Blue Jackets.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's one of the 3 starters for you in just a moment.
Carolina with only 3 shots in the third period. The Jackets with 11. A 3-period total of 24. The Jackets see a 3-game winning streak come to a halt here tonight.